break you in half. What kind of a son are you? A real son would help his father. But not you. You keep undermining me. I'd rather have a son like that.
Stay away from me.
You know why people don't want to come in the store no more? Do you? Because of you! No! Yes! Because of you!
Blood and Black Rum Podcast presents the Festivus Series, Year 3. Back better than ever. With your favorite Christmas movies like The Santa Claus 3, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, Black Christmas, the 2019 remake you didn't ask for, and more. Tune in all December long for the Festivus Series from your favorite podcast, Blood and Black Rum.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from coldsploitation.com, and I'm joined by my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well after some bout of food poisoning or something to that effect.
I don't think it was food poisoning.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably just a stomach bug sort of thing, but nasty all the same. We are back with a new episode for our Festivus series. A little late this time, unfortunately. I had a holiday party, Christmas party for my work. That ran late, so I wasn't able to get home to podcast when we normally do.
That just means Ryan drank too much.
No, actually, I did. Well, I did have 3 beers, but not so much. Not drinking too much as just got over it. It started late and got over late, so I didn't get a chance to get home in time to podcast. We weren't going to have time to watch a movie and podcast, but we're back now, and we are continuing the series that we have started ever since we've first done this podcast.
Even before the Festivus.
Yeah, even before we started calling it Festivus Series, right?
Yeah.
We've done all 4 of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights in a row, and we're now back with the 5th installment of that series, which is called Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker.
And the last one.
Well, the last one of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise, the one that has the Silent Night, Deadly Night title to it. There is one more that we'll do next year, which is technically a remake of the original, which is called Silent Night, which I actually never saw. But yeah, we're basically done with this series as it stands. And Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 is another one of those movies. It was direct to video, and I've never seen it before. I remember this one distinctly, though. I remember it being at Video World, and I remember seeing the box art for it quite a bit, because I remember the whole toy scenario, the kid sitting in front of a whole bunch of toys in his closet that all looked sort of demonic. And another thing of the early 90s direct-to-video craze was that a lot of them had toys, like killer toys in them. Puppets, toys. This sits right in the realm of like the Puppet Master series. Very similar to that.
Child's Play.
Child's Play at the time. A couple others as well. And the other thing about Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 is basically a Pinocchio story. Just without the name.
To be honest with you, I don't even remember what 3 and 4 are about.
Yeah, they were very unmemorable. So, I can't remember too much about 3. I do remember that for a time there's it's like a psychic, isn't there? There's like a psychic woman in that one. And for a little bit of the time there is a killer Santa, but he's not a major part of it. And then part 4, I have no idea. I can't remember at all what that one was about.
Can't be bothered.
Yeah, I remember it was awful. And I remember that it didn't have much to do with Christmas. And that one was directed by Brian Yuzna, who is the writer, one of the writers on this. And excuse my cat scratching right now, right at their post if you hear that on the show. Brian Yuzna is the writer, is a co-writer on this one, not the director.
What a mouthful.
Brian Yuzna, yeah. If you look real quick at the there's one scene in this movie where you see a line of people in the mall. They're waiting for Santa Claus. And there's a guy that if you can catch him wearing a Reanimator shirt. So Brian Yuzna involved in a Reanimator movie. There's a little Easter egg there for you that you can catch really quickly of a guy with his son, and he's got a Reanimator shirt on. But when you see the name Brian Yuzna, especially in the early 90s, you think, this movie's probably not going to be that good, to be honest with you. I did a couple of good things, but for the most part, his early 90s and late 90s output was not that good. So we have that, unfortunately. You've never seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 either.
No, I haven't seen a single one.
This is new to both of us. I know that when I went into it, I was not expecting much.
I almost just to be obstinate, I might as well just call it the Toy Maker the entire time.
You don't like the fact that it's called Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 because it really has nothing to do.
No, I don't buy, like, especially because after, like, with third one, them diverting from the original story, I'm not going with, like, oh, it's like an anthology. They didn't put that much.
No, yeah.
You know.
Especially because of 1 and 2, they have, they're basically the same movie. And then 3 and 4 really have nothing to do with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I would say that Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 comes back a little bit to the original themes of it. At least there's a guy that dresses up like Santa in this one.
Parents having sex everywhere.
Yeah. There's a kid that has a traumatic experience on Christmas, or it's not actually on Christmas. It's like 2 weeks before Christmas for whatever strange reason why they wanted to give it that early of a date. But
timeline's very fluctuating.
It's like,
you know what I mean? Because especially because there's nothing. Because again, like Lowtown, California, so
yeah, there's no like snow or anything.
How do you know it's Christmas? Well, there's some presents and wreaths.
Yeah,
that's it.
And we got some lights up too.
Not even. I wouldn't even like. Maybe I think I saw one house that had them.
It's one of those movies that can, because it's set in California, they can get away with saying it's Christmas, but just not do anything. Like they don't need to make much of an effort to decorate or even get fake snow. At least, like, and you see in the Santa Claus when Tim Allen goes out in his bare feet in the snow. At least they had fake snow. It's not real snow. It's like that powdery shit. But, because anybody going out into fake snow in their bare feet is going to be like, fucking cold from the coziness of their home. But in this one, they don't even bother. It's California. It's a balmy 85, as everybody's complaining about. And there are people outside in shorts. So not much Christmas happening in here. That looks authentically Christmas. But, yeah, so Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 is about a toy maker named Joe Petto.
Is that one of the worst, like, puns, like, ever? Yeah,
and I'm trying to think if, like, his name in the as a toy store owner is supposed to be a pun. Like, is that, like, like, did he do it on purpose? Did he change his name as a toy store owner to be Joe Petto?
That would have been great if at the end of the movie, like, they're like, oh!
I get it now, yeah. No, I mean,
now I get it.
If they meant it as a regular, like, if they just meant it to be his name, but a pun on Geppetto, then yeah, it's terrible. I could see it a little bit more if somebody mentioned, like, is that his real name? Like, no, I think he changed it for the shop. I would have been more okay with it, but
his actual name is Mike Smith, and
yeah, very white person, white old man name.
Oh, that's Mike. He fought in the war.
Yeah. And the toy maker himself, Joe Petto, is played by Mickey Rooney.
What a get.
Mickey Rooney, who for some reason decided, hey, why not? Let's do this direct-to-video horror movie.
I think Chuck Howard reeled them in. God, this makes...
Clint Howard, yeah.
No, I'm going to call him Chuck.
You're going to call him Chuck.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how Mickey Rooney was applied to this role. At this point in his career, was he not doing well? Was he not pulling movies in?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think, especially when you see him in this movie, and, some of that might be made up for the Joe Petto character, but he's looking rather rough in this movie. And one could say that him downing Jack Daniels was not originally in the script. It was just them shooting B-roll. And Mickey Rooney happened to be on set with the Jack Daniels bottle.
Oh, that makes it even, feels right, because he's not drinking it from a tumbler or anything.
He's just
pouring it in, like, a nice, like, drinking glass, like, for, like, a glass of water, pouring it, like, yep.
That scene where he's in the shop and he pours, like, 8 ounces into a glass and just shotguns is pretty impressive. If it was actually Jack Daniels.
I don't think
it's just
like
like
Coke.
yeah, ginger ale or something. Yeah, it's pretty impressive though. All the same, he definitely opens his gullet and just it's gone. But yeah, Mickey Rooney is weird for this movie, especially because everybody else is no name. Really, no one else in this is a fine actor of upstanding value. It is a surprise. I mean, it's just weird to see him in this, and why he agreed to it. Nobody knows. And you know what?
He probably got to the point where a lot of great actors do, where it's just like, you know what, I'm just doing it for the love of
It's unfortunate that we're not going to get a commentary from him or anything like that. Why? As somebody who watches new releases and things like that, where they bring back older style films. I wish that this would have gotten a Blu-ray release earlier, so that we would have had something to go off of as to why and how Mickey Rooney was in. So maybe somebody will revisit this and give us a new commentary track and say yeah, we were just around California and Mickey Rooney happened to be there. We asked him if he wanted to be in this movie and he said yes. Oh well, whatever the case may be. Strange times.
Do you think do you think Clint Howard told him about it? He thought it was Ron Howard talking to him. Yeah,
could be
anything for you.
I thought
Ron.
I signed up for a Ron Howard movie.
He's like, wait, what the hell is this?
Clint Howard, he's another guy that when you see a Clint Howard in the film, you're already bracing yourself. You're like, this one might be sketchy. Clint Howard was in Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, you better watch out. So it's sort of another revisiting of that. But
imagine if he was Little Opie in the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Clint, sorry, man, but most of the movies that you pick to do are terrible. He's just in it for the love of acting. That's what it is. So the story is about this family, Sarah and her daughter, and her son, Derek.
Might as well be a daughter.
Might as well be, yeah. Derek is a mute boy now because he experienced a traumatic experience when his I don't know if we would say his stepfather. Seems like a boyfriend, really. But his mother's boyfriend is killed.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony with his gold chain and his bare chest and his pajama pants.
I just love the fact that he's still, he's going to bed. He's got his jam pants on. He doesn't need a shirt because he's got a nice hair shirt on. And you know what? He's going to bed with that gold chain on.
I'm surprised that he even put the pajama pants on because he was just fucking Derek's mother, a few seconds ago as Derek walks in and he's like, oh, what's going on in here? But he experiences this guy's death, Tony's death, when a rogue, basically like a Pokemon ball, it's a Santa Claus gut that's this big giant circle that spins around and launches arms that attach to his face and suffocates Tony.
It's like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Yeah, it really is. That opening sequence is like meant to suck you in, but there's a slow-mo that just lasts forever. It just constant slow-mo in that death scene.
For no reason. It doesn't add any effect to
Actually, and you know what? I thought because of that, I thought there was going to be more slow-mo in the film, but there wasn't.
Nah, they used it all on that.
It was just that first
right on the intro.
First kill was just like all slow-mo. Maybe what happened was they had one take to get it, and they just were like, do this extremely slow, and we'll just make it slow-mo so that you can't tell. So they had one take to do all of the stunts. Regardless, yeah. So Derek experiences that, and he goes mute. All of a sudden, the kid stops talking.
The best part is they're like, yeah, I took him to the doctor. The doctor's like, the kid's fine.
He's fine. He'll get over it. He just saw this guy die and fall on fire poker, but he'll be okay. Yeah.
Which that's also obnoxious as all hell too.
What's that?
They like the fact that Tony, has this thing's like all over his face, like gonna fall on the fire poker too, and it goes through his head.
Yeah, but, well,
it's like a series of like unfortunate events. Just
the Santa Claus thing getting attached to his mouth just seems like it's less like dangerous than just like annoying,
an inconvenience.
And it's an inconvenience that is attached to his face. He's like, I just can't get this off my face. And then he falls on a fire poker and dies.
I thought maybe he was like suffocating from like.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Yeah, the toy itself doesn't make much sense, but
I'm more of a fan of Charles Bronson and Death Wish 4 using the RC soccer ball to
better toys. Yeah,
blow shit up.
Charles Bronson had better toys for sure. These are archaic toys.
Well, no wonder why Joe Petto's going out of business.
Yeah, no one wants the toys that he has. It's like he has one like a terrible dollar store snake that has googly eyes glued to it.
The worst part is like none of his toys are boxed.
Most of them are not boxed.
It's like you're not running a toy store, you're running Goodwill.
Yeah.
It's kids already got this,
The only one that was boxed was Larry the Larvae. I don't know why they did it plural, but Larry the Larvae, maybe because the movie itself did not want it associated with like a giant turd. Because that's what the toy looks like.
It looks like a giant turd.
It just looks like a big shit. That's like a really long shit.
Maybe that's the inspiration from Mr. Hanky.
Maybe. It looks like him in a way. But yeah, the only one that really has a box is Larry the Larvae. And I think they needed to explain what exactly it was because it doesn't really look, it just looks like shit. Literally. But yeah, he doesn't box his toys. And also, yeah, I agree. Joe Petto is going out of business not because of anything else or like the town doesn't like his son Pino, but because he makes terrible toys. They're all super lame. Like there's that one dog that he tries to give Derek that's like his tongue comes out. That's it. That's the toy.
It was great too. The kid gave like the Caesar kind of like thumbs down. Like all he was missing was like the
No. Yeah, Joe Petto's toys suck. And that's why nobody wants them. They're going to Toys R Us at this time.
You know what's funny? I was just about to say that. You know what's funny too? At Toys R Us when they're there, they're like, they're going, we'll never go, we'll never go out of business.
Yeah. Toys R Us at this time was putting small toys owners shops like Joe Petto's out of business. They're laughing on top of their money. They're like, everybody will love toys forever. Oh, Toys R Us. How do you feel now? Yeah, so Derek and his mom, Sarah, they're trying to cope with this loss around Christmas time.
She took Tony's death pretty well.
She did. She was just like, this guy died. It's all right. It's not a big deal.
Still looking for my long-lost love.
Yeah. Yeah, so the film has this love acquaintance that we don't know about for like 3/4 of the film. It's just this guy with nice wispy hair like Sean from Boy Meets World.
I was about to say that too, Sean Hunter. Yeah, except it's like if Sean Hunter was in Terminator, like, it'd come back.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So he has it's just this guy that's running around. He's a Santa Claus at the local mall.
The Wikipedia said the reason why he had all those toys is because he was trying to figure out if Joe Petto was booby trapped.
Yeah, that's what he says. He says that later on after he meets up with Sarah, and he said, Joe Petto's he killed some people in another town, and I've been buying his toys.
He was arrested for hurting children.
Yeah,
he was only in prison for like 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of them died. He said.
Yeah,
one of the kids died, but he went to prison for 2 days. He's out. It's how they treat, pedophiles and kidnappers.
You know what? I think the reason is because we love this country loves small business owners so much. They put him on like the biggest pedestal in the world. Like, his fucking shitty toys, killed 2 people. He's a small business owner, and he's he's
trying.
He's the real job creator in America.
Pulling himself up by the bootstraps, and he's making his own company.
Yeah,
he's doing it.
He's living the real American dream.
He's David.
What? Joe, you're free to go.
David battling Goliath. You know what? It's okay.
Not only that, too. They're probably like, hey, you know what? This is America. You have the capitalism. It's free choice. Let the market sort it out. Kid die, guess what? Maybe you shouldn't go there.
It's okay.
He can still run his business, but you know what? Maybe you shouldn't go there.
He just has to put a warning on it. May cause
No,
death.
not even. No. Figure it out yourself, dummy.
Yeah, so the one thing that the film does is it has that this guy that's just, he's running around. We don't know who he is, why he's running around, but he just happens to be there all the time, and he's accidentally giving out all these booby-trapped toys to other people, like Larry the Larvae.
Yeah, he doesn't even get named until three-quarters of the way through the film.
Yeah, he just happens to be
in a nice exposit dump.
It's it's a way for the film to have like sort of an antagonist that's not an antagonist. So like when you get to that point, not only that though, Tom is a dick. Like throughout the whole film, he acts like an unhinged dick, and then ends up being a good guy. He tries to break into Sarah's house with the babysitter.
I thought his name was Noah.
What's up?
I thought his name was Noah.
I thought it was Tom. I don't know. Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. It's Noah. Tom's a different guy.
Tom's Mr. Italian.
Yeah, Tom's Tony the Italian. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, yeah. So you're right. Noah, his name is. Yeah, that's the thing though. You don't even get his name until three-quarters of the way through. So you don't even remember it.
I think they were trying to go for the whole like, ooh, he's kind of like our protagonist in Silent Night, Deadly Night. The creepy guy stalking around.
Yeah, that's true. Like when he's in the mall and he's Santa Claus, you kind of get that. There's that one little glimpse when he's actually dressed as Santa Claus. He's kind of got like that glint and in his side eye, where you're like, yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night. A little bit relates to it. But yeah, it's just weird. It takes way too long for the movie to sort that out. You just have two running concepts going on. You have Noah doing whatever he's doing, buying shit tons of toys and then selling them out of his hotel for whatever reason.
I guess it was because he didn't have rent money.
I guess, yeah, he's just black marketing them.
So he gave his landlord here's a good Christmas gift for you.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, look at this Larry the Larva dildo. I'm gonna play with it in the car as I'm driving home.
If you were a property owner and you try to get paid
in toys
with Larry the Larva, would you accept that?
No.
You wouldn't have been like...
No, I would have...
And you'd be like, no, fucking trash this. What are you doing buying all these toys? Fucking where's my rent money?
You always say, when you owe me rent money.
Yeah. Where's all the toys coming from? You owe me rent money. But yeah, so you got Noah doing all this stuff. And then you're also following Joe Petto and Pino, his son. And Pino has a lot of issues going on. Where you said he looks like David Byrne from the Talking Heads. He's dealing with his own inner turmoil. Apparently, his turmoil is not being able to live in this house anymore, the house that he used to live in. And he's become obsessed with Sarah.
I just love the fact that like she's like, I'm going to call the cops, and he's like, we used to live there, and she's like, oh well.
Yeah, but he gives the fatherly promise it won't happen again. That's cue for, baseball bat to the kneecap. So he can't move around for a while.
He's picking out his favorite belt.
Yeah. So,
but no, even still, he's in there, stalking, Brainy from Hey Arnold. And she's like, oh.
The funny thing is that when in that sequence where he's actually in their house and he's in the closet, he just bursts out of the closet for no reason.
And just for no reason.
Like no one was looking for him or anything. He just bursts out of the closet.
He just runs away.
Yeah, he could have just, stayed in the closet until Sarah left or something. But no. Just like when they're all in the room, just not the greatest spy. So you got all this going on. Derek's not talking, trying to pick out the great Christmas present for Derek. And so it all culminates in a couple of grisly murders because of the toys. The toys are seemingly imbued with some magic electromagnetism or something like that only Joe Petto can do. They're all, they become sentient or something like that. And it's all Puppet Master-like in the fact that they come to life. They can commit horror atrocities, and they have a mind of their own, apparently.
Should have had like a pentagram and like a sacrificial table down there.
Yeah.
Like when you get down into his lair, you're like Rick Doss.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wondering like what makes the toys attack like that. Like what makes them evil? Why do all these toys that he makes want to just kill people?
Because they're abominations. They're probably like, kill me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Larry the Larvae was trying to suffocate himself in his that guy's bowels. He's just like, I just want to die. It's horrible being this thing. But the whole movie is basically just a plot for Pinocchio. It's a ripoff of Pinocchio. Joe Petto being the pun that leads it all together, but ultimately,
and Pino,
and Pino for Pinocchio, and ultimately, the end reveal is that Pino is just a real boy, a Ken doll, with a great reveal of him taking off his pants, and there's nothing there,
and dry humping Sarah.
Ooh, it's a great conclusion.
Yeah,
it's one of those
comes to fruition.
It's one of those conclusions that is like way too long. Way too long. One of those where the killer just keeps coming back, but not in a tense way or anything like that. And I think actually at the end, Sarah says, "Why won't you die, you son of a bitch," or something like that. And
she said, when she's stomping in his head, she says, "Die, you son of a bitch."
And that's what the viewer's thinking too. They're like, come on, just end this.
Little Scream 3 vibes there, like it's like Roman popping up and like, ah!
No, the ending is way too long. It just goes on forever. It's just tedious.
And that's where Derek, finds his voice back.
Yeah, randomly he's just like, Mom!
Greatest Christmas gift of all.
Yeah, the ending is weird. And I don't know. It just was way too long. I guess if you're not expecting the Pinocchio aspect of it, the reveal is kind of surprising. That it's been Pino all along, and I guess while most of the special effects in this movie are not good by any stretch, like as we mentioned, the toys are terrible looking. They all are very poorly done. The best part of it is actually the robot face detachment and showing Pino as like a Pinocchio type Ken doll. That's probably the best part of this film, but other than that, the ending is really somewhat of a mess, and it just goes on for too long. And I think that happens in most like direct-to-video movies for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but I think it's just that they don't necessarily get the pacing, the best pacing for a horror movie, and they try to keep the suspense going, but it's just way too long. The whole movie is like way too long. It's almost like an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that's a little bit more adult, that's stretched out to 90 minutes.
You're just sitting there kind of going like, wrap it up. Like,
yeah.
Like, you don't need to see, like, Pino go into their home, like, 3 different times.
Yeah, you don't like, you go through the whole process of going through each room. And
the same thing, too, with, like, finding out that, Noah's actually Sarah's, lover, who is actually Derek's father. And they were always still in love, but he didn't know she was pregnant, and they were just so young and, didn't know what to do. And she wanted a career, and apparently he joined the army and matured. Now he's out and he's, driving his Jimmy around.
Yeah, there's a whole backstory for him that is
just exposited. Yeah, that whole 10 minutes just
vomited forth.
Sit there like it's like a Shakespeare soliloquy. She's like, Noah, why'd you like? Because she, because before that happens, he's chasing her down.
In a parking garage,
like he's gonna rape her. Like it's something like a Death Wish movie. Like, oh shit, she's in. She's gonna get raped here.
Yeah, that whole scene doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. He asked, he's like, "Why'd you run from me?" Because you're a weird random guy in a parking garage.
Well, as I told you, I'm like, I told you and your wife, I'm like, it's role play. Like, take me. Yeah,
it's such a weird scenario.
They had their hot sex in his Jimmy.
That's right. And what's better when you're reunited with your lover from 6 years ago than to have hot sex in a parking garage. And
it's also tender too, as you said.
Oh yeah. Actually, they have like sort of clip back and forth between teenage sex, which the guy's like 30, mocking a 12-year-old. Oh, red skates, man, red skates.
You want your ass kicked?
Yeah, so they cut back and forth between these teen sex that are romping around on a bed, breaking kids' bed because they just keep flipping around. No one has sex like that.
It's like literally like it's kind of like a WWF.
Keep doing
match.
Reversals on each other.
Like WWF match, like ding ding ding, like.
Yeah, they just keep flipping over and on top of each other. It's ridiculous. So they go from that to like the nice, tender, obviously experienced love, because the guy also can't get the bra off. The teenage guy can't get the bra off. He's like, what is this thing? I just want boobies. I just want to feel boobies.
It's just funny too, because it's the front clasp, not
Should be
back.
easy.
So he's looking right at it. It's not
Should be easy. Just go flip, unclip that, be done with it. But
well, obviously he doesn't know certain touches, because when that one hand's crawling all up and down, he's like, woo, woo.
It's actually pretty funny. They threw that in there. I feel like I was saying, like, I think that's somebody's fetish to like have like an inanimate hand just like groping.
I thought I was gonna poke him in the butthole.
I mean, it was like going that way. And it was like,
but at the same time, I keep thinking of like not Clerks, but Mallrats. Came out in 94, 95, and the big taboo joke is butt sex.
Yeah.
So just imagine, like, if finger in the butt, it'd be super taboo.
He does say, he's like, you've never touched there before.
Yeah, because you can see on his tidy waist, nice, streak, skid mark on
yeah,
there.
schmear stain.
Little schmutz.
That scene is really funny too, because
they get killed by army men.
Yeah, and what we see is Joe Petto just stopping by with a big sack of toys and he just dumps them in the room. He's just like, who are these people? I don't know. I don't fucking care.
Why is he dressed as Santa Claus?
Yeah, he just random. He just dumps the sack of toys. He's like, these people? Fuck these people. Who are they? I don't care. Fuck them. Yeah, that's like the one scene that's actually kind of violent. Is that scene where they're murdered by the toys, like army men and tanks?
Ridiculous. Like, she gets shot like 10 times.
Yeah,
still like running around like ah. And he has like a RC car with buzzsaws and like nails to just like jump up and stab him.
My favorite part is that RC car gets its own theme. It's just like every time, and then it's funny because like the RC car is only shown for like a couple seconds, and it cuts away, and then that song is gone, and then it cuts back to the RC car. It's like the composer was like, "This RC car, that's awesome. It's getting its own theme. it's getting its own theme." It's just weird. It's funny. The theme sounds like it's composed by Mark Mothersbaugh, though I know it's not, because it's got like that.
Zithery.
Yeah, the zithery synth scores and stuff like that. There is one part when actually the Larry the Larvae toy comes to life, and it's like a really weird rendition of the Nutcracker Suite. It's like
because they couldn't get like the full ride, so they had to like tinker with it enough to like.
Yeah, they changed it around. You can recognize it, but it doesn't really sound like it. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it was. And that's like, again, one of the only other things you're watching besides like that and Santa Claus showing up where you're like, yeah, this is a Christmas movie. Like, yeah, I guess so. Other than that, it's really not that much of a Christmas movie at all. It's not like
they go to the mall
and there's Santa there.
That's the worst part of the whole movie, because afterwards when they leave, I refuse to believe in the middle of December during the shopping season, they're just parked right out front of a mall, right at curbside. No ticket or anything, no tow job.
Just a meter just there in the front of the mall. Apparently, it's not a very busy mall. Maybe that's another reason why Joe Petto's shop went out of business. There's no one living there anymore.
The town's abandoned.
Town's barren. So no one lives there. Yeah, so one of the toys that we didn't talk about was the rocket skates, which I don't really...
Rocket blades!
I don't necessarily understand the build on them.
That 12-year-old is like the coolest kid ever. He's like wearing like Zubaz-esque
He's definitely got like Fresh
and,
Prince style.
Like the high top Reeboks,
Yeah.
or Nikes or whatever the hell.
He's rocking like the flat cap or the.
I'm pretty sure he's wearing like a starter jacket too.
Yeah,
he was like
backwards cap.
He was the creme de la creme of the early '90s.
Yeah,
you know, that's
he definitely was. He would have been the cool kid. I don't know why that 30-year-old guy was making fun of him.
And it just made his lady friend even, hornier when she's like, "Yeah, talk to that 12-year-old."
Ooh,
tell
I
me.
bet you could beat him up.
I know. I bet you could.
But those rocket skates are pretty funny. That whole scene is really stupid. In the way that it rolls out.
The best part is, too, he gets, as you said, he gets hit by the car. You're like, well, it's a pedestrian area. The guy shouldn't, be flying through there like that.
Yeah.
At 25. Not only that, he gets hit by the car, and obviously from the way it's shot, you can tell it was a stunt guy that took the hit, and he took it very,
It was a very slow
and safe hit.
Yeah.
And you see him in the hospital. He's just totally wound and bound up.
Yeah, it's comically stupid because it's like one of those comedy shots where somebody, it's like a cartoonish thing where they get hit by a car and in the cartoon they're literally a mummy. Because everything's covered up, but that's what they're playing it off as. Is literally everything about this kid is broken, but he's gonna be fine, and he might have a coma because his head's bleeding. But no, he's fine.
His lips. The most distracting thing is his lips were so swollen, like he got stung by a bee.
Yeah, I do just when they go to hospital and somebody's literally wrapped up head to toe in bandages. When do you think they ever do that? Unless you're a burn victim. They're not going to wrap you head to toe in gauze. I don't know what that would do for you. You might have a couple broken ribs, but
it was just funny. He should have done. He should have done what Walker Texas Ranger did in that situation where he didn't get hit by the car. He jumped up and kicked it.
That's right.
Drop kick through the window. You
know what? We didn't talk about the Larry the Larva scene where the car explodes. And I called it. I knew it was going to happen. As we were seeing this Larry the Larva attack while a guy's driving, I was like, there's going to be a car explosion here. I just know it. You know what? It's not a direct-to-video film without wasting the budget on a car explosion for no reason. And sure enough, it is,
Guy is getting strangled by Larry the Larva, swerves off the road. Careens into the air, and then after it lands, then it goes,
Yeah, it's great. It's just
twice. It explodes twice.
Yeah, totally unnecessary car explosion. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't add anything. The guy's already dead. He's already been strangled to death. We see him relax and go limp. So the car explosion does nothing.
And the fact that Larry goes through his eye afterwards, it's like that's overkill. You're going to kill him.
Yeah, especially because the dummy looks so bad. It's really clearly terrible mask, but that scene is awesome just because I knew that car explosion was coming. I was like, it's definitely
we kind of cheered that like we were at a sports bar, every team pulls ahead
we knew that was coming. That was this film screams there's going to be a car explosion.
if in fact there isn't a car explosion, I want a refund.
Yeah, right.
I want a refund of my money.
I don't know why I rented this movie.
Imagine bringing it back. Thought there'd be a car explosion. I look at it. It's crappy, direct-to-video movie where people are going to get killed. No car explosion. I want my money back. It's false advertisement.
It's also important to note we watched this movie and it was basically like we were watching it when it was released on VHS because that's pretty much the quality that we had.
Do you think it's probably the rip from it?
Probably, yeah. This movie is hard to find in and of itself. It's really no one has it, and it hasn't been released on Blu-ray yet.
You just imagine the government when you do download stuff like that, and they're trying to get you on the Copyright Act,
yeah.
And you're like, well, come on, it just hasn't been released yet. And they look and they're like, oh, you're fine.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no one's going to release this trash on video. No one wants this movie anyway.
That or they're like, you know what, that's actually going to the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
That's where the copy is. It's actually got sent and submitted to,
They're holding on to it. All right, what else did we talk about? What did we miss?
What do you think of the acting?
Well, the acting is pretty suspect and all over the place. Like I said with the kid, I feel like they were like, get me a kid that has zero acting chops.
Well, as I told you, I feel like they didn't direct him. They just told it like he looks like a kid who's just pouting the entire time. So it looks like there's just like his dad's on set being like, "No, you can't have cereal for dinner.
Yeah.
This isn't a restaurant.
No, we're not stopping for ice cream.
Yeah, and he's just pouting the whole time.
That's pretty much, yeah. The whole kid. The kid really has no range at all. It's just like pouty. And then even when he's supposed to be surprised, it's more like just like a,
And when he finally speaks at the end, it's so bad. Like, come on, mommy, it's a toy.
Yeah, I don't
be scared.
I don't know the reasoning behind casting this kid, but there's just nothing there. Maybe that was the point. Maybe it was just like the whole Michael thing. I looked in his eyes and there was nothing.
Are you sure it's that, or is it more like Jaws? Like, he's black eyes.
Yeah, right.
And, Robert Shaw's gonna come crumbling. He's black eyes.
That's the kid. That's it. That's the kid. You know what? This would have been a good spinning off point for them to do like another Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 6.
No.
And then have him be another Santa Claus that goes crazy and murders on Christmas, because then, he would have had that traumatic experience of part 5 on Christmas.
No.
Yeah. Then he becomes a robot Santa. Because it gets more futuristic as the film series goes along.
Oh, that'd be even better. And then like eventually make it their way to space.
Yeah. Silent Night, Deadly Night in space. I don't know why they stopped it here.
In the hood.
They could have been
Him
one of
and
the
Leprechaun
longest.
can have team up.
They could have made it one of the longest running Christmas series of all time. Other than that, though, for acting, like no one else stands out either. I mean,
even Mickey Rooney's really just
Yeah, I mean he's just there. Really, I mean he's not doing anything particular.
Honestly, I think, the woman who played Sarah is probably the best, but even still.
She gets the most to work with, too. Like, there's that one scene where she goes in talking to Pedo, and she's like, if you don't stop Pino, I'm going to call the police next time. She gets that, like, little dialogue there where she gets a little bit of a chance to show her
Which is funny,
range,
too, because, after that, when Noah's talking about fucking pedo killing kids and stuff, she's like, no, he's such a nice man.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah, I was like,
I don't believe it. It's like, weren't you just there accosting him? Like,
you don't believe? Yeah, you don't believe that like a guy whose son sneaks into your house and sniffs your underwear could possibly also have some dark secrets?
I do love the part where Mickey Rooney's like, after she leaves and they don't sell a toy, and he flips out on Pino, berates and belittles him, like calling him a piece of crap, and then like he's like running off, and like they like beat him with a paper, like a newspaper, and then like Noah's standing
they
there.
run into Noah.
And he's like, oh,
yeah. Mickey he just switches off. He's like, oh, sorry, didn't know you were here. It's just, yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been beating my kid while you were here.
You saw how he was trying to sell that thing. I mean, he's kind of a fucking retard.
Yeah.
Imagine if Pino's like running like the cash register, and you just see like him, selling creepily, and he like just looks to the back, and you see Mickey there like cracking his knuckles and like tightening his belt. Like,
I wish we had gotten a warm side of the door where Pino was doing well in the store. And Mickey Rooney's
better yet, he's fucking up, and just
Mickey Rooney's like, no,
and just like he's shit. You're like, no, God.
It's like, why did I make this kid?
See, that's the worst part about these sequels. They haven't used Warm Side of the Door at all.
Why didn't they get it back? Yeah, being part of the series, you would think that they would have access to that song too. Why didn't they use it?
It's like over the years, words cannot describe how much I love that song. And in fact, I tell people at my job all the time when they do a good job, I'm like, I don't know if you've ever seen Silent Night, Deadly Night. And then I tell them about the manager who's standing there and just, nodding approvingly as you hear, there'll be thunder and lightning.
That's you.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, good job. Good job. Yeah, they should have used it for this movie.
You're definitely the choir singer in that one.
Yeah.
When it's like, my brothers, you brothers.
It's too bad they didn't use it. Movies would have been more memorable with that song. Every one of these Silent Night, Deadly Night should have a ridiculous montage.
It's a great montage.
It is a good montage.
Hey, you want some vodka? Nah, man.
No.
Got milk.
Yeah. No thanks. I don't
Back
do that
in the
hard
80s, hey, you're working the store. It's break time. You know what that means? Vodka time.
No, I don't think I have anything else on Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5. It's a
poop show.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's not as bad as 3 and 4. I think it's better than 3 and 4. I think it returns a little bit to form, but it's not a good movie. It's definitely, still one of those early 90s direct-to-videos that just,
I agree.
don't go out of the way to see.
Like I said before, I honestly don't remember a damn thing about 3 and 4. This one's...
Yeah,
I feel like we'll stick a little bit more because it's, got something different, but at the same time, it makes you wonder, like, really, at this point, was there enough value in the Silent Night name to bother tacking it on?
Yeah.
You could have just had, like, Mickey Rooney is the toy maker! Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and especially, like, I feel like it was a little later than this, but Pinocchio's Revenge came out, and it was a direct-to-video film. And, that was another, a horror revisiting of Pinocchio. So, a lot of movies were doing this sort of thing at the time. And taking, like, fairy tales and, making them into horror movies, too. So, it was like a direct-to-video thing that was happening at the time. But,
well, they couldn't do anything original like Candyman, so.
Yeah. All right, so on a scale of 10, I'm gonna go with 10 larvas.
Larry the
Larvas. The larva with googly eyes on it.
Doesn't even look like a larva. It looks like a freaking, centipede.
Yeah. For one thing, I don't know why anybody would pick the toy of a larva and be like, my kid will love this. You know what kids love? Bugs.
I was say, especially because it's before James and the Giant Peach, because it does look a little bit like the centipede from James and the Giant Peach, but even still, no kid's gonna be like, that's what I want.
You know what? I love like slimy larva. That's my favorite toy.
Hey, have you got Edward the Earwig?
So on a scale of 10 Larry the Larvas, what would you give Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, the toy maker?
Probably give it a 4.5. Even though it's like 85 minutes, it's a taxing film to watch. There's a lot of just random plot lines. Like the whole Noah plot line is random. It would have just been better if they got to the point a lot sooner instead of waiting till the end to get onto that. Oh, I'm the father of Derek and blah blah blah. I think the idea could have been interesting. The whole psychotic Pinocchio, but because it's made on the cheap, it's really falls flat. Acting's terrible. The music in it's terrible, but it's different enough to make it slightly enjoyable. Only very slightly. And I thank God I'll never have to watch this again. I'm glad. I will just keep in my heart the memories of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Deadly Night Part 2.
Yeah.
Just everything else after is
don't need to revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably give this a 4.5 as well. It's definitely a really, in 85 minutes, it's really slow. There's some scenes that are just way too overbuilt. Like the whole scene where she's running in the parking garage, and you just see her feet moving, like running, then going backwards, and then running, and it's like, okay, we get it.
Dropping your key through a grate.
Suspenseful, I guess, if you want to call it that. Suspenseful or tedious, one of the two. It's just a lot of those things just run way too long. The ending, again, is like one of those endings that just goes on forever in a bad way. You're just like, I just want this to end now. Please just end it. Just end it. Slow motion at the beginning of the film, you're in for a treat when you get that. Car explosions in there as well. This film isn't as bad as the other two sequels. I think it actually does better. It has a little bit more Christmas flavor to it, and it also the toy element is kind of unique to the series. So I kind of like it in that sense, and I think it's a little bit better just to watch overall and a little bit more enjoyable. But other than that, no one's ever going to be clamoring to watch this movie again. It's not going to be a seasonal staple. You're not going to watch this every Christmas.
I mean, it would have been better if they went like the Halloween, like kind of at first it was kind of seemed like going a Halloween 3 route of like, ooh, demonic Christmas
like toy, that people are sending around. Yeah, I think the whole element of the Pinocchio element just doesn't. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird. I would have rather just weird toys roaming around. I don't need the Pinocchio element to it. First of all, that's not like Christmassy at all. So it would have been nice. Like, what if there was like a demonic Santa delivering toys? That would have even been better.
John Goodman.
Than what we get here. But so this film, it's okay, but no one's, you're not going to revisit it, and that's probably why it's not gotten a Blu-ray release at all.
Tedious is the best way to describe it.
Yeah. It just runs on forever. It just keeps going. You're ready for it to end.
There's so many other Christmas classics you could,
You watch instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or being made to suffer through.
Yeah. Well, we're done with Silent Night, Deadly Night. This element of the franchise. Next year we have the remake Silent Night, which is a newer movie. So,
well, maybe by next year Blumhouse will have like a
maybe they just did Black Christmas, which we'll be doing next week. So there's that. So next week's episode is Black Christmas. We'll check it out. Get to the theater and see it and let you know what we think. I'm kind of excited for it and see how it goes. I don't really know what to expect. So I've heard some good things, some bad things, So I guess we'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening. We will be back next week with our Festivus series. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, pretty much any podcasting app. If you are on it, we're on there as well. So subscribe to us, leave us a nice review. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Blood and Black Rum Podcast, on Twitter at Blood and Black Rum. We have an email address at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com, and we have a Patreon at patreon.com/Blood and Black Rum Podcast. You can donate to us on there. Anything that you can donate will help us keep the podcast going, so we appreciate whatever you can do. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back next week for our Black Christmas episode, and until then,
take care.